everybody, and thank you for being here. We're so excited that you're able to join us here tonight. And we'd like to welcome you all to our very first Latin Excellence Speaker event. My name is Nancy Zamora, and I'm the director for the Ed Center here at UTA. For those of you who don't know, the Ed Center is brand new on campus. We are a federally funded grant program who is here to help support and provide resources to our Hispanic and underrepresented populations here at UTA, helping them be successful throughout their time um, during their graduate studies. So we're really excited. We are brand new, like I said earlier. We are actually getting ready to have our grand opening um, in January 24th, and would like to invite all of you to come by and see the center and see what services and resources we have available to provide to all of you guys. That grand opening will be on January 24th. All of our scholars are personally welcome to that grand opening, and we'll also have an open house the rest of the evening if you're unable to come to the grand opening. In the meantime, if you are wanting to learn more about the resources and services that the center has to offer, we have our website that has officially gone live today. So if you would like to visit us at www.uta.edu/HR/edge-center. Again, www.uta.edu/HR/edge center. So again, thank you all so much for being here. And without any further ado, I will go ahead and start to introduce our very special guest, um, Dr. Elba Garcia, Dallas County Commissioner for District 4. Dr. Elba Garcia embodies a new breed of professional women in the 21st century. She is not only a community leader, but is also a mother, a wife, a dentist with her own private practice, and a role model for Latino women from all walks of life. Dr. Garcia is a former Dallas County Council member and the current Dallas County Commissioner for District 4. Born and educated in Mexico City, Dr. Garcia earned her doctorate in odontology from the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana in 1984. She later immigrated to the United States, where she had to recertify her degree at Baylor College of Dentistry. Earning her second doctorate in dental surgery in 1990, she is a small business owner, having run her own private practice since 1998. Dr. Garcia also served as an assistant professor at the Baylor College of Dentistry. She is married and has two sons. Dr. Garcia has always dedicated herself to community service and began her service in public office in 2001 when she was elected to the Dallas County Council to represent the residents of District 1. While serving on the Dallas City Council, Dr. Garcia was instrumental in steering a number of important public projects to completion, including securing critical funds for the Latino Cultural Center and spearheading the development of a new animal shelter and the Oak Cliff Cultural Center. Additionally, she has worked with the Environmental Committee to institute LEED standards for the City of Dallas buildings. When she was chosen unanimously by her colleagues to serve as Deputy Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor Pro Tem, she was the first Latina to serve in those positions. Dr. Garcia was elected to serve as the Dallas County Commissioner by the citizens of District 4 in November of 2010, becoming the first Latina ever to serve on the Dallas County Commissioner's Court. During her first term in office, Dr. Garcia focused on making Dallas County government more transparent, saving millions of tax dollars by fixing Dallas County's bail bond systems, pushed for her completion of the long-delayed Hunter Farrell Road projects in Irving and Grand Prairie, building and extending trails in District 4, championing initiatives like the District Attorney's Animal Cruelty Unit, and educating constituents about Dallas County services. During her second term in office, Dr. Garcia was instrumental in updating the Dallas County purchasing rules and ethics policies, the expansion of the SB certification, Dallas County adopting Ban the Box, and its hiring policies, starting the Homes of Hounds program in the jail, completing the 20 million improved MacArthur Boulevard project, and leading the renovation of the Records Building complex. She also created the Facilities Management Committee to address issues with Dallas County aging buildings and dangerously high level of deferred maintenance. Through long-range planning and prudent investments in facilities, Dallas County's deferred maintenance has been reduced from $100 million when she took office to $20 million today. In her third term as Dallas County Commissioner for District 14, Dr. Garcia has completed the $5.7 million in North Haven Trail project and $15.35 million Cropple Hill Road, opened the Oak Cliff Government Center, broke ground for the Oak Cliff Gateway, a mixed-use affordable housing project, completed the $200 million renovation of the Dallas County Records Building complex, and broke ground on the $56 million Wildlife Parkway project in Grand Prairie. Now, in her fourth term, Commissioner Garcia is looking forward to completing the $27.2 million Medical District Drive project and many other projects that are currently underway. Dr. Garcia served as the chair of the Dallas County Criminal Justice Advisory Board, the DWI Task Force, New Life Opportunities Board, the Dallas County Facilities Management Committee, and North Texas Behavioral Health Authority. She's also a board member for the Public Employee Benefits Review Committee and the Continuous Improvement Steering Committee. She's formerly served as the Dallas County Civil Services Commission and was an alternate member of the Regional Transportation Council. In her role as Dallas County Commissioner, Dr. Garcia also appoints committee members to various Dallas County boards, including the Parkland Boards of Managers, the Dallas County Trail and Preserve Program Board, the Citizen Election Advisory Committee, and the Dallas County Historical Foundation, as well as several other boards and commissions. In addition to her service to constituents, Dr. Garcia bears a myriad of other public services responsibilities. She currently sits in the Safer Dallas, Better Dallas Board, and is an advisory board member for the Medical City Center, Hope's Advisory Council, and the College of Juvenile Justice and Psychology at Prairie View A&M University. She formerly served as the Boy Scouts of America Circle 10 Council and the Dallas Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Dallas Zoological Society, and the Salvation Army Board, and the New Friends New Life Advisory Board. She is also current and past member of the Oak Cliff Lions Club, Grand Prairie Rotary, Grand Prairie Chamber of Commerce, Greater Grand Prairie Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce, Greater Southwest Black Chamber of Commerce, League of United Latin American Citizens, Henry Holmes Breakfast Group, Irving Heritage Society, Irving Women's Network, Irving Hispanic Forum, League of Women Voters in Dallas, and Stonewall Democrat Dallas, Irving Texas Democratic Women, Irving Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Dallas Summit, Hispanic 100, Dallas Assembly, Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce, Heritage Cliff, and so much more. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Elba Garcia.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zamora, and thank you, Alejandro Ruiz, for the pleasure and the invitation to be here with all of you tonight. I'm always honored when I hear that this is your first, session with leaderships in the Latino community. It's always, thank you for the invitation. Very honored, and that bio is long. You know that.
It is long, and we really, I thought about shortening, but I think a lot of the times we shorten ourselves in our successes because we're humble and we are afraid to show off, right? And so I thought it was important for them to hear all of the wonderful things that not only have you been a part of, but been able to accomplish throughout your career. So I do know that it was long because I timed it and I was like, should I shorten it? But no, I think definitely well deserved. And thank you so much for everything you've done for the community and you continue to do. And thank you for being here.
A pleasure.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry. Little technical difficulties, but don't worry. I think I lost my questions and I apologize.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry. So we heard in your introduction that you are originally from Mexico City. Can you please tell us a little bit more about your upbringing and what ultimately brought you to Dallas?
Well, as you say, I was born and raised in Mexico City. My father was an MD with the Army. So I grew up in a rigorous home. But always, education was the main thing. I mean, you could get anything at home, if you show good grades. So there was always this competition among everybody to have the best grades because it gets you everything within the family. So um, I think that always it was good for me because it gave me the self-esteem that will help me in life, and especially later on as I immigrated to the United States and as I became an elected official. I think that that upbringing in a very military form with my father, rest in peace, and mom, very Catholic. Helped me a lot in my upbringing. Then I when I say yes to my Prince Charming, which happened to be from a place called Oak Cliff in Dallas, propose. I honestly tried to convince my husband, Domingo. He's a well-known lawyer that has a lot of billboards all over Dallas County. Please don't blame me for that. Um, when he proposed, believe it or not, I tried to convince him to move to Mexico City. And I remember him telling me, Elba, if I move to Mexico City, there's a lot of Mexican attorneys in Mexico City. But if you come to Dallas, specifically to Oak Cliff, I was looking into it and I couldn't find any bilingual Latinas dentists right here. And of course, we're talking in 1984. So I say, Domingo, so you're saying how big is the population of Latinos in Dallas? And at the time, we were around a 20%. I say 20% of how many? And well, it was around 1 million at the time. I was like, oh my God, Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff. I don't know where you are, but I'm coming. So I turned out to be the one that immigrated to the United States. And well, as you can imagine, I knew then that my first challenge was going to speak English, right? To learn English, because my English at that time was good enough to say uh, Big Mac, medium Coke, fries. And that was not going to take me far away in dental school. So that was a big challenge. And obviously, I was very blessed. I mean, I started at El Centro College, which living in Oak Cliff was pretty close to our apartment at the time, and English 101. And well, I mean, the rest is history. I decided to enroll in the dental assistant program because I figure, hey, if I don't make it into dental school, I knew I have to go back to dental school in order to practice dentistry because foreign degrees have to be revalidated here in the United States. So I enrolled in the dental assistant program. It helped me a lot to learn the language. The fact that Latin is the root of many words really helped. And I was able to pass all the requirement tests that at the time Baylor College of Dentistry here in downtown. I got accepted in the program, at the advanced program. At the time, they only accepted 3 people, and I was one of those 3 people. And well, hey, went back to dental school, which at the time was not very fun, but hey, it gave me the opportunity. I'm very thankful to Baylor College, now Texas A&M. But I graduated again in 1990. And hey, once you graduate, you know that you have to make it count.
Wow, that's amazing. What, you know, that just goes to show, like, you, as long as you just don't give up and just keep working hard, I mean, you're able to accomplish so many things. I think that, having to go back to school, even that, like, that's difficult. And on top of that, having to learn English, and because a lot of the time, especially being bilingual, you understand, certain things in Spanish, certain things in English, depending on, how you were able to, learn the language. But as a dentist, knowing all of the terms in Spanish and having to relearn that, I bet that was very difficult.
I mean, obviously it was. And I
Hmm.
think more importantly, you're always going to, think at the beginning in Spanish. So you're
Hmm.
translating in your brain.
Yeah.
Until this day, I still catch myself sometimes going straight from Spanish to English. It's getting better as I get older. But nevertheless, I think the challenge, as always, is learning the culture as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that is probably one of the most challenges, the biggest challenge as you come into a country as an immigrant.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe many of our students are able to really identify with that, as that
Yes.
was their story as well. And also being, going to El Centro or any of the Dallas college schools and transferring over to the University of Texas at Arlington. So thank you. And thank you for sharing that. And, your husband's lucky that you said yes.
I
And
keep
we're
telling
lucky.
him that all the time. I say, baby, I mean, the presents have to get bigger and bigger, okay? So, anyway, no, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it has worked out well.
Yeah, that's good. So you did mention attending school in Mexico. So you attended the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana. Must have been considerably different than attending Baylor University. How did those experiences differ, and what challenges did you encounter during the recertification process?
Well, I mean, it was definitely different. At the time, I was single. Definitely, once I got married and immigrated to the United States, uh, it was something that I had in my mind, that I wanted to be a dentist in the United States. I didn't graduate it, but I finished the dental assistant program, and more than ever, I knew I could make a difference as a dentist. And I say I'm going to pass, and I'm going to keep going until I get accepted into Baylor College of Dentistry. And at the time, I had my first son. He was 6 months when I got the letter of acceptance to Baylor College of Dentistry. So the second time, I was a mother, I was a wife, I have a lot of responsibility at that time. So I have to say that I was more focused, and that's what I tell all the young people and all the audience is, once you get married and you have the responsibility of raising a family, it's harder.
Hmm.
If you have the opportunity, finish your study, finish your degree, enjoy life, enjoy the world, travel, then you can get married and settle. And not only that, you have the money to be able to settle and work a schedule. And that's what dentistry did for me. I love dentistry. The profession has given me the opportunity not only to raise a family, to have a schedule, to work certain days, it gave me the means and the funds to run a campaign, to have a great staff, because I always have great people working with me that allow me to do community service, to be a public servant, to be a dentist, and be able to have a good income at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah. Thank you. I think it's probably one of the advices that I always give to students, especially who are in undergrad. And I tell them, I said, if you have the opportunity to go straight away, do it. Do it now is the best time to do it. You don't have any bigger, I mean, you have responsibilities, but you don't have a family maybe at this point. It's the best time to do it. It's probably one of my biggest regrets is not having done that myself, and waiting to go back, because it's a readjustment. And your life is different in a few years later. That you never know what's going to happen in the next 2, 3, 4 years or whatnot. And so having to re teach yourself how to learn how to come back and do papers and things like that, it's hard. It's hard, and it's going to be something that it's definitely doable. A lot of people do it. But if you have the opportunity, why not go right away, right?
I agree. I mean, I think that nobody gets younger, and everybody has a story and obviously different challenges. But if you have the opportunity, if you have the blessing of planning, hey, when you can, I mean, I remember telling some of my friends, I'm sorry, I cannot go tonight. I
Hmm.
have to study, right? And it's very different when you are single and when you have to say that because you have a family, you have to go home and wash and cook and be
Hmm.
sure that the kids are okay, be sure that they do their assignments and keep going for the next day. So if you have the opportunity, I think that especially nowadays, I think men and women have those opportunities. And hey, you don't have the pressure that some of us had,
Hmm.
30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So given those challenges that you had throughout this time, um, what kind what kind of support system did you have, or were you able to leverage to be able to overcome all those challenges?
Well, definitely my husband. My husband was always a big support. I'm not gonna say that there was more than one time that I say, oh, this is too much. I cannot do it anymore. When, you have someone sick in the family, the baby needs to go to the doctor. All of those responsibilities that sometimes you say, I cannot do it anymore. And I always hear, yes, you can. Don't worry, we can make it work out. That support my mother, my father, that they will say, oh, do we need to go, do you need help? That is always very important, and that support was invaluable at least in my life, to be able to have that support that tells you, yes, you can. You're not a quitter, you can do it. And hey, it happened, we finished. And then finally, in my graduation picture, I have my 4-year-old, and I am super pregnant, even with the black rope, I mean, with my youngest son. And that was a moment that I know it was obviously a very proud moment for myself and my husband. And Joaquin sees that picture and says, oh, I can't believe, Mom, that I was there. And then my mom and dad, same thing. I think that um, that pride only comes when you work hard to achieve what your
Yeah,
goals were.
absolutely. And you mentioned we did it, and I don't know if that was by mistake or if that was like
No, we did it.
intentional, but I think when it comes to to individuals from underrepresented populations, from Hispanic, African American backgrounds, family is very important to us. And we don't do what we do just for ourselves. We do it for families, we do it for parents, we do it for whoever, or to pave the way for others to be able to see someone that looks like them, that sounds like them, to for them to feel proud of what you've been able to accomplish. And I think that that resonates a lot with all of our students, because we don't do this alone. We don't succeed alone. We do it with a support system, and some of us are very lucky to have that family support, and some of us are not. And and if we're not, I think finding individuals that are going to help you and support you through it. It doesn't have to be family, it can be friends, it can be anybody.
Yes. And that support system is extremely important. I tell everyone, I mean, if you hear the negativity, and I've been a public servant for quite some time, the negativity is there, and nowadays is more than ever. You know, I always say, if you cannot say something good, okay, if you cannot have any positive into the conversation, please don't say anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all have our strengths. We all have a story. We all have our qualities that give us the power to do whatever we have. So if you're there and you don't have that support, look for it. We are here. Find that mentor, find that center, find that program that will give you that support. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, Nancy, is that I was told many times in my life, oh no, are you kidding me, Elba? Look how skinny you are. You want to be a dentist? Do you think you're going to be able to pull a tooth? I, I mean, you need a big bicep, good, strong man. I mean, I was told this before I applied the first time to dental school. Right at the time, I mean, in my class, we were only three women in Mexico, in la Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana. And I had already worked as a dental assistant. I knew
Mm-hmm.
it was more about technique than about brute muscle power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have the opportunity to go back to that counselor and say, you know, by the way, I'm here, I'm a dentist, and I made it. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
need, big biceps to do an extraction. You need technique, knowledge, and more importantly, having the skills.
Mm-hmm.
And but I hear that a lot of times during my life. Uh, Obviously, are you serious, Elba? You want to run for city council? You are a woman, you're a Latina, you have an immigrant, you have an accent. What makes you believe that you can get there? Shouldn't you
Mm-hmm.
be cooking for Domingo and the boys? I mean, now that I look back, if I didn't believe in myself, if I didn't know that I could do, that I was already a dentist, that I could be a dentist,
Mm-hmm.
that I have already worked in many campaigns for other candidates, I probably wouldn't achieve anything, right? I would
Mm-hmm.
say, well, they're right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you can make it, if you know you can do it, if you know it's what you want to do, look for that support system and do it. There's no excuses. And in today's society, I think that you can find that support and make any dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That's great advice. Absolutely. So speaking of your dentistry work, you've been running your own private practice in Oak Cliff since 1998. What inspired you to open your own practice in Oak Cliff, and what kind of community exposure did that bring to you?
Well, I have to say that opening my own practice was always my goal, right? Being independent, being my own boss. But I started working for Community Dental Programs, which is a community-based organization. And at the time, and I have to say, being bilingual has always helped me and served me well. When I graduated from dental school and I applied for a job at the time, I was pregnant, as I say. And I said, well, I'm ready to go into the real world. I'm ready to make money. I've been in school way too long, but I'm 7 months pregnant. So I went and asked to community dental care for a job. And I have to say, that interview was, do you speak Spanish, Dr. Garcia? And I remember saying, with this accent, yes, I have to tell you. I mean, I do speak Spanish, it's my first language. Do you have all your requirements and you have your prescription? And that, at that time, I have everything. Would you mind going to some of the Spanish speaking areas? Of course not. You're hired like that. I don't know if you notice, I'm 7 months pregnant. Oh, don't worry about it. We take you anytime. So that's how I started working in community dental health programs. And who takes the kids to the dentist? Moms,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, hey, mom, ¿cómo está todo ahí en el barrio? Oh, Dr. Garcia, well, the dogs, the potholes, security. Last night there was yeah, you know how it goes, in the community. We need more policemen. We need this. The park was dirty. So I start getting involved more and more in what the community was saying, right? And my husband at that point was elected to the Dallas City Council. So I start reading more ordinances. I start going into town hall meetings. I start learning more about city services, county services, political government. So here I am raising two young sons, being a dentist with an organization that I love and adore, and working part-time at the time. So I get to know the community, and I get to know the voters, and I get to know, who do I go? How do I move into the process to get my park to get cut, to get clean? How do I fix a pothole? How do I put lighting in my alley? What do I need to do and know to move within the political process? And hey, start serving in St. Cecilia's Church, which was my church, and then I got involved into the Greater Dallas Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and seeing small businesses. Eventually, somebody say, "Hey, we need someone to run for city council to help us with the small business offices." Okay, yeah, who do we run? And somebody went and said, "Well, Elba, I think you should be that person." I never thought in my wildest dream to run for office. I was always going to be the dentist, the doctor that was going to help. I was going to travel the world and raise a fabulous family. That was the goal. Well, when after I hear that, I went and looked into the numbers. At the time, I ran at City Council District 1 in the city of Dallas. And when I look at the numbers, guess what? Most of the voting population are women, right? In that district, most of them were, a lot of them were immigrants and Latinas. And I knew those problems, right? I have been working in West Dallas and Lloyd Flowers. And I say, well, why not? Let me look into this. And I remember, when I went and told my husband and my boys, this is many years later, I say, hey, what would you think if I tell you that I'm being asked to run for city council? And Domingo said, hey, why not? I think you will be great. And my youngest son said, Mom, you love to complain. You will be perfect for that position. And the rest is history. Start knocking on doors. And like I say, a lot of people say, why you? You haven't paid your dues. We're not born in Oak Cliff. You are a woman, da, 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 da. At the end of the day, I always say, the issues are the same: education, health, better opportunities for the whole community. And then it doesn't matter what color or what language or what accent you have, as long as you want to do the best job for everyone.
Yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
how I got into politics. But at that time, I already have the dental practice and I have great associates. And they'll say, yes, just go. Go. Don't talk to us about politics no more. Just go. We vote for you. And be sure we have enough patience. And yes, it had given me the exposure not only as a public servant, but also as a dentist, even when a lot of people think that I'm a doctor in education. I want to set the record clear. I am a doctor in dental surgery.
Yeah. Yeah, I think whenever service calls, it regardless of where, you can find that anywhere. Giving back can be in different forms and different ways that you can give back to your community. And good for you for answering, that call, because not all of us are brave enough to do so, um, because we are very intimidated, or we've always heard kind of like those why you, or you know negative kind of talk. And I think that we all can learn a little bit from you, in that we need to make sure that we block all of that negativity, and really, just go back and give back and serve your community. So again, thank you, and thank you for accepting that calling, and still doing great work.
And if any of you in the audience get that call, holler. I mean, more and more, there's more Latinos elected officials. Still not enough, if you ask me, but more and more women, more and more Latinos are taking the call, and they're doing great work. Great, great work.
Yeah, thank you. So what speaking of your public service work, what is your guiding philosophy in your approach to public service? What advice do you have for anyone here considering to be a part of or considering a career in local government?
Well, it's all about the people. I know it sounds like a cliche, but my world and my goal have always been, how can we make it better? Okay? How can we change the quality of life of our neighborhoods? How can we improve safety? How can we be more efficient with everything that government does? Right? How can we have better roads, expanded services? How can we go and navigate the bureaucracy, right? I mean, everybody says, oh my God, no, I don't want to deal with any of that. How can we make it more accessible? Um, and that's what it's all about. That has been, I don't take no for an answer. And I try to always do as much as I can for the constituents that reach to me. And then if we can't, well, I mean, I just try to send them to the people or the elected official or the program that can help them. I am very happy to be to spread ahead a lot of things that I never thought I will have the opportunity to spread ahead. And you mentioned several of those initiatives, from animal shelter, when we got that proposition in the ballot for the voters to go. I mean, it got some of the highest number of votes. When it comes to the arts, when it comes to everything that includes the future, electric vehicles, I've been very happy to spread ahead within Dallas County all the green initiatives. Dallas County didn't have green initiatives just 3 years ago. But I know that I mean, the future is going to depend on the quality of our air. It's going to depend on how prepared we are to manage water, to manage everything that has to do with fuel. For the first time, Dallas County is having a goal to have green fleets, in 10 years. That
Mm-hmm.
never happened before, and we need to think about that. We are doing green buildings for all of you, and I want to invite you all, guys, if you want to come and check your records building, because it's yours, all the people of Dallas County that pays taxes, right? We have is a gold certified, the first governmental building that has a gold certification, that has a well certification. That means natural light. It means everything that is positive in your body and that makes you more productive and that gives you the space to feel good about it. And then we also have um, recycled materials. We have everything is geared to be green and efficient. And then, of course, we're installing, thanks to President Biden and the American Rescue Plan funds, we have been able to purchase a lot of the charging stations. So everyone that has a vehicle that is electric, and I know are getting more and more popular within our society, can have the opportunity to charge it. And of course, Dallas County is in the forefront when it comes to reducing deferred maintenance. One thing as a government that you can never catch up is when you have too much of the deferred maintenance. And as you said, I'm very proud to say that when I took office, we have more than $100 million in deferred maintenance. Today, we have less than 20.
That's
So
awesome.
it was getting off of the old, getting some of the new, make it more efficient, making more constituent services friendly. And I think that, we are now we finished Grand Prairie, North Dallas, South Dallas Government Center, Oakley Government Center, Mesquite and Garland are in the pipeline. And hey, we have north, south, east, west, and in the suburbs. So we should be fine. And I hope that by the time I leave this position, I can leave the county in a better way, in a better, um, a strong economic position as well.
Yeah. I mean, you absolutely have already, and I can only imagine all the more great things that you're going to be able to
Well,
accomplish.
I mean, we're working on affordable housing. One of the things
Hmm.
that we're seeing now more and more as we continue to be one of the regions that is growing the fastest in the United States of
Hmm.
America, we're working in affordable housing. And when I mean affordable housing, when I say affordable housing, I really mean it. It's not the big fancy apartment with 3 units that are affordable that is $2,000 a month. I'm
Hmm.
talking 80% median income, that $60,000 a year. So young people, teachers,
Hmm.
working class can go ahead and have a nice place to live in the middle of the community. And the first one that we're going to open hopefully next year is right here, 2 blocks away on Beckley and 12th Street. So if you all know of someone that is looking for affordable housing, don't hesitate to call, look into it, the Beckley Apartments, South Beckley Apartments. And hey, you have requirements to fulfill, like everything in government.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, if you qualify, we're planning on having 2,000 units in Dallas County. Well, units, because I say units, but some of them are going to be homes
Hmm.
in different areas of the county. I know we're working with Grand Prairie, we're working with Irving, Farmers Branch, and different municipalities within the county to be sure that we have a good stock of affordable housing and not continue to gentrify, continue to displace, uh, communities of color from areas that are up for development.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Thank you. Um, so talking a little bit more about like involvement in local government, outside of being in the front lines, like positions in local government, what other opportunities would you say are available for maybe some of these young students who are wanting to get, a foot in the door? I know we talked earlier, before we started the meeting about internship opportunities, that perhaps you'd be willing to just share a little bit about?
Definitely. Government is always challenging, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want any government," and I wish we could do that, right? But since the moment you're born, you're gonna have a certificate, a birth certificate, and the moment you die, you have a death certificate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to say that government is not going to influence your life is a panacea, right? I mean, you're going to have a title, a bank account. I mean, government and economic government is going to be in your life all your life. So how could you make it better? How could you make it work for you? And definitely, many of us as Latinos and sometimes culturally, oh, you don't want to be a politician, or you don't want to get
Mm-hmm.
involved in that, mija. They're going to call you for jury duty. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, juries need you too, right? So it's a two-way street. I always tell everyone the best way to get through government is know your representatives and hold them accountable. Okay, you hear about those council meetings, show up. I mean, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to, but if you don't want to, obviously, but I mean, show up. I mean, see what your council member has to say. What is the challenging that is with public safety, with parks, with water, with traffic, with animal control, with code enforcement? All those issues. And let me tell you, your city representatives is what I always call the first line of defense, right? Is the water, the park, the fire department, everything that when you wake up in the morning and open that faucet, if there's no water, you're having a bad day, right?
Mm-hmm.
To brush
Yep.
your teeth, because I know that's what all of you do first. You brush your teeth. So, I mean, everything that influences your life from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to bed, half of it is government. So you need to know about government. Get involved in it. Ask your council member, your state representative, your county commissioner, how you would like to serve in a board of commission. Actually, we have for every single taste. And I always tell you, if you don't like any of the boards and commissions, volunteer. You can volunteer in the police department. You can volunteer in the animal shelter. You can volunteer in your library. You can volunteer in an election. You can volunteer with the elections department. There's so many opportunities. You still don't want any of that. You want an internship? Call us. We have so many different branches. You know, the public defenders, if you want into criminal system, the criminal justice. You know, you have the district attorney's office. You have public works. You want to be an engineer. You want to be a planning director. You want to be an economic budget, auditors, treasury, you name it. I mean, you're interested more into the law enforcement part. We have the sheriff, we have the marshals, we have the police departments. There is so much that you can get to see and taste. And more importantly, guys, we're always very quick to criticize. Okay. Oh, if I ask what the problem is, goodness gracious, I get emails, calls, you name in text. What the heck are you thinking? The problem, we all know. The difference is who out there has the solution, and not only the solution, the viable solution that can pass muster, pass the political system, and actually make it better for all of us. And it's in your hands. I hear the best ideas from town hall meetings, from community meetings, from boards and commissions. You know, the government works thanks to the people that gets involved in a positive manner, because, oh gosh, can we hear the negative out there? Yes, we can, you know, but makes the changes that are feasible, doable, and actually make a difference. And you all have those ideas, and you all are going to be the next generation of leaders, the next generation of professionals that are going to be the ones in charge. That all of us, all people, have all our benefits and retirement.
Absolutely. Great. Well, this leads us to our very last question of the night. So, for many of us who have grown up hearing that education is the key to success, but those of us who have gone through it or still going through it now know that graduate studies is no walk in the park. What advice do you have for any students that may be struggling in their journeys?
Well, nothing that is worth working for is a walk in the park. Okay. If what you want is to have it the easy way, it's not going to happen. Everything is going to, uh, you know, it's, if you really want it, you know, it's going to cost. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, uh, you know, the time and the effort. But, you know, the reason you hear that education is the ticket to success, and we have been hearing it for years and years and years, is because it's true. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be a dentist, and I wouldn't be an elected official, a public servant, if it wasn't because I have the education, right? If it wasn't because I study, if it wasn't because I knock on doors, if it wasn't because many, many times, you know, I cry at night, you know, because I thought I wasn't able to make it. But I mean, the main thing for you to remember is that not to give up. Giving up is not the option. And the opportunities are there, guys. I mean, the opportunities continue to open there. And, you know, and all of you that have those graduate studies, all of you that are working in advanced degrees, it will give you the benefit and the earnings, you know, of the future. You know that anyone with a master's degree at least gets a 20% higher income than those that do not have it. So don't give up, you know, keep working on it. Don't forget to look for help if you need it. There's organizations, there's funds, you know, institutions that are looking for you guys. And don't be shy to ask. If I tell you the amount of money that goes back into the federal money, into the federal coffers, because nobody asked for it. And I know that at advanced degrees is harder, but nevertheless, don't forget to ask. There's some areas in the private and the public sector that if you are studying. They will help you with the cost as long as you work with them after, for several years after, they want you to have that education and stay with them and make a difference with them. So don't give up, keep studying hard. Don't forget and don't be shy to ask for help and take care of yourself. I mean, don't forget, your body is your temple and your family is your support. So that's
Awesome.
it.
Well, thank you so much for your advice and for sharing so much with us. I know, and for being here because I know that you're a busy lady, and so we're greatly appreciate you being here. I don't. We maybe have time for one question.
Definitely. I mean, we have time
I
for
don't.
questions.
Okay, I don't
I'll
know
be
if you
more than
have any
happy.
questions, Alex.
Yes, we have one I'd really like to pose. This one comes from Carlincia Jones, one of our Edge scholars. She says, as another minority woman pursuing medicine here in the US, were there any other women that looked like you during your time pursuing dentistry? And if not, how was it pursuing your dream and not seeing many other people that looked like you?
Well, I do have to say we were very few. I was the third Latina, to graduate from Baylor at the time, 1990. And but then again, the main issue is always being, you know, you have to have, that powering within you to say, I am going to make it. I mean, because if I would have listened to the people that told me, oh, well, you're a dentist in Mexico, but here you're nobody. Oh, yeah, but over there is a lot easier. Over here is more intense. Guys, I mean, to whoever asked the question, you know what you want. You know what you're going to have to go through. You know that you have the fiber to do it. And it doesn't matter how everybody else looks. You have it within you, and that's what matters. You know, it's for me being the first. I mean, I'm still amazed that at this time and day, we still seeing the first woman in the Supreme Court. We still see the first Latina, that is, we still haven't have a Latino or Latina congressperson within the North Texas region. So I know that among you guys, and it might be it might be this group within the center, is the next congressperson, for the North Texas region, the first one. Okay, we just elected the first two, congresswomen from the state of Texas, Latinas. Is also the president of the United States, the first male or female. So I know, and I hope that I alive to see the first Latino or Latina to be president of the United States. We should never cut ourselves short. And the other thing, when we talk about involvement, I wouldn't be here if I didn't stand in the shoulders of many other Latinos and Latinas that fought for us. One of the people that always told me, Elba, you can do it, Adelfa Callejo, and Anita Martinez, which was the first Latina ever elected to the Dallas City Council. And Adelfa Callejo, the first women attorney, Latina in the state of Texas. And it was those two Latinas that when I was doubting myself, they would tell me, you can do it. Be that support for one another. Be that support for the people that are within your community and within your family. I do have to say that, vote, your vote is super important, and now more than ever. When they're passing bills like SB4, that makes a felony of someone undocumented, that makes a felony of someone you are with someone that is undocumented. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense that because the way we look or the accent that we have, we be target? No. So I always say, get involved, do your best, get that support, and then vote. Because if you don't, then you can't complain.
Well, thank you so much. And again, thank you for being here and for sharing with us. We would love to have you back at any time. So if you ever feel like you want to come back and share more with us, or, we look forward to working with you in the future to provide our students with some of those opportunities that you mentioned, and look forward to just seeing the great, amazing work that you're going to continue to do.
Well, thank you for your invitation. If any of the 25 people that are in the queue have any questions, are interested in any of the points that we touched today, please send us an email, send us a message, elba.garcia DDS at dallascountyaltogether.org. We'll be more than happy to, talk to you. I mean, you're interested in any of the internships. Obviously, most of the time are not paid, but we will be more than happy to help you, your kids, or someone in your family that needs any help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great night. And everybody else, again, thank you all for being here. We hope you enjoyed tonight's speaker series. We will see you all at the next one.
Muchísimas gracias. Buenas noches a
Gracias.
todos. Cuídense.
Buenas noches.